From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, February the 20th, 2020. Israeli diplomats and ambassadors in 77 countries around the world began voting yesterday for Israel's national elections, which will be held in Israel on March the 2nd. Voter turnout abroad was reported at 66%, which is down slightly from the last two elections. And with the elections next month, the latest polls predict another deadlock could be in store for Israel. A poll released Monday by Israel's Channel 13 showed Benny Gantz's Blue and White Party a few seats ahead of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party, with 36 Knesset seats and 33 Knesset seats respectively. However, adding up the other parties would lead to similar results as the last elections and would leave Yisrael Beytenu leader Avigdor Lieberman once again in a position to push either party to a majority. Israel's President Reuven is in Fiji for a summit with local leaders. Rivlin tweeted that the historic first-of-its-kind gathering was another step in deepening bilateral and regional relations with the Pacific Island states, including Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Samoa, Vanuatu, Tuvalu, Tonga, and Palau. The government of Fiji tweeted their appreciation for the Israeli president and their hope for deepening ties. Rivlin also told the regional leaders that Israel will offer 100 new scholarships for agriculture students from Pacific Island states to study in Israel, and will also open a center of excellence and innovation together with the University of the South Pacific. A British history textbook being used by high schools in the UK is under fire for posing a question suggesting a link between the September 11th terrorist attacks to the establishment of the State of Israel. The Jerusalem Post reports that the book from Hotter Education, in the section on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, asks, could it be argued that the creation of Israel was a long-term cause of the 9/11 attacks? Well, after a number of complaints, Hotter apologized, tweeting, "We appreciate the phrasing of the question is not as precise as it might have been, and we are very sorry for any offense this has caused. We have removed the book from sale. We will have the content reviewed and will then reissue a revised edition." CEO of the Impact SE Education Watchdog Group, Marcus Sheff, said this is the kind of conspiratorial nonsense and delegitimization of Israel we are used to seeing in Middle East textbooks, not in British educational materials. Sheff added it breaches at least 4 UNESCO declarations signed by the UK government in relation to school materials, including no hate, no incitement, unbiased information, and respect for the other. Holocaust scholar and Professor Deborah Lipstadt was disrupted during a talk on modern-day anti-Semitism by anti-Israel protesters. The Allgemeiner reports that Lipstadt was speaking Thursday night at the University of California, Berkeley Law School when the protesters stood up and positioned themselves right next to her holding anti-Israel posters. Lipstadt ignored them, later tweeting, "My talk was about anti-Semitism here and now, not about Israel." In the talk, Lipstadt said, "When I spoke about anti-Semitism from the left, I mentioned that many people refuse to see anti-Semitism as legitimate. They dismiss claims of anti-Semitism as simply being a sop to protect Israel." Lipstadt added, "I want to thank the protesters for making my point more clearly than my words could." A follow-up now to a story we told you about last week, also at UC Berkeley, a resolution to condemn a display at the school portraying several Palestinian terrorists as heroes, which was voted down by its student association, the ASUC. While Chancellor Carol Christ responded this week to the incident, saying that while students have a constitutionally protected right to display the posters in question, using a campus location to honor those who killed unarmed Jewish civilians and or bombed or planned to bomb places frequented by unarmed Jewish civilians is an affront to our principles of community. But Christ also responded to threatening remarks reportedly made by a Jewish student after the vote. Writing so too were the words of a speaker at the latest ASUC meeting who proclaimed a desire to eliminate Palestinians from the world. She said the university is exploring ways to promote educational information about anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and other prejudiced ideologies in a bid to reduce instances on campus and help students feel safe. Well, the Vatican will unseal archives on Pope Pius XII, a pontiff criticized for never publicly condemning the Nazi regime during the Holocaust. Pius XII served as pope from 1939 to 1958. The archives are set to be opened on March the 2nd, and researchers from around the world have requested access to them. The first to be given access will reportedly be to those researchers from the American Holocaust Memorial Museum and representatives of the Jewish community in Rome. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, February the 20th. At 7 o'clock, it's Talmud Study. At 8, the 2019 National Adult Finals of Chidon HaTanach, the Bible Contest. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with playwright and author Eric Hausman-Houston. At 10, a World War II story of Jewish triumph. And at 10:30, we hear from Israeli innovator Yossi Vardi. And coming up right after this newscast, it's Israel in Style. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, February the 20th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader.